everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Today we have some really exciting, kind of breaking news about the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. We have a character coming back from the original film to be a part of this new continuation. We're gonna get into that in just a sec though, but before I do that, I'm gonna need you guys to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Also, please consider supporting me on Patreon, the link for that is in the description below. Alright, now let's get into it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Well, I'm Pennywise and Sinclair.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast!
You son of a...
God, don't do that.
But sometimes that is better.
So the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot, continuation, whatever you want to call it, is bringing back the character of Sally Hardesty. She was of course the final girl from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. This is super exciting news, something that this franchise has never done before. Marilyn Burns famously portrayed her in the original film, but then actually came back for a little bit of a cameo in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation. Easily the best film in the whole series. Yep, that's definitely the best movie in this whole franchise. But she wasn't actually playing Sally, she was playing like a hospital nurse, so that technically doesn't really count. She actually did cameo twice in this franchise in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, where she played yet another character. Sadly, Marilyn Burns passed away back in 2014, shortly after playing a new character in Texas Chainsaw 3D. But Fede Alvarez, the producer of the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, confirmed that Mandy actress Olwyn something with an F that is too hard for me to pronounce will actually be playing an older version of Sally Hardesty. It is unfortunate that we never got a continuation with Marilyn, but I am glad that this actress is going to be playing the role. She was very creepy in Mandy as the antagonist, so I'm excited to see her play the protagonist in this new film. Sally's character was the sole survivor of the original 1974 film, so I wonder if this film is going to be following her character throughout like a new storyline that takes place so many years later. It is confirmed at this point that Leatherface will be like an older version, like not quite the same as how we've seen in the past. Leatherface is gonna be kind of a crotchety old man in this movie, so like he's not gonna be running around with the chainsaw, maybe he'll be limping around a little bit, like using it as a cane. That's honestly a concern of mine for this new movie, like is Leatherface gonna be too old to be walking around with a big old chainsaw and running after teenagers? Because like that's what's so scary about that movie, it's like he's like this giant dude and he moves so fast. Unlike Jason or Michael, Leatherface's like signature move is that he can run around with his chainsaw above his head, and like if you take that away, like what is Leatherface at that point? Just like another stalker that walks around too slow? Like, is that the approach they're going to be taking with this new film? I really hope not. Like, I would like to see Leatherface still running around with the chainsaw. That's kind of what makes his character so different and scary from all of the other slashers. So hopefully they don't really like change his character too much just because he's an old man. Like, honestly, if you want to have him running around with a chainsaw, like, and he's 70 at this point, whatever. I'm not gonna care. I don't think anyone's gonna care too much, even though it doesn't really make sense. It's the scary factor that I'm much more concerned about over anything else, really. I am really excited for this film. At first, when I heard that the directors got fired from the movie, I was really scared. I thought, okay, this is gonna be a bit of a mess. But Fede Alvarez, who's producing this new film, who also directed the Evil Dead remake, which in my opinion is one of the better remakes out there, and Don't Breathe, which also kicks ass, he's really reaffirming my faith in this new film. I talked a little bit about this in my video yesterday, but Fede Alvarez was recently on an interview with the Boo Crew podcast and discussed how this film is going to be a lot more vintage looking, just like the original film. Something that I feel like the remakes and some of the sequels didn't really capture so much that original film gets right on the nose. It's effortlessly gritty and disgusting and really just disturbing because it feels like a snuff film you found somewhere that you shouldn't be watching. It seems like Alvarez is really trying to recreate that magic and also be faithful to the original film, unlike Texas Chainsaw 3D, which is kind of the same concept. It's a continuation to the original movie, which doesn't really feel like a continuation. It feels more like its own thing. Like, it really shouldn't have been a continuation to just the original film. TC3D, as I like to call it, also has like a whole bunch of plot holes that don't make a bunch of sense. My biggest problem with that movie is that Alexandra Daddario's character is supposed to be like a 50-year-old woman, and she's played by a 20-something-year-old from in 2013. It doesn't make any sense. If that movie would take place in the 90s, okay, that would make sense, cool, but it clearly does not. I already think this continuation is going to be better than Texas Chainsaw 3D, but what do you think about it so far? Do you have high hopes for it, or are you kind of on the fence about it because of all the weird production stuff? Leave me something about that in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching my new Texas Chainsaw Massacre update. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Just look up KillJoy Jake and maybe I'll come up. Well, at least I hope I do. Please consider supporting me on Patreon. The link for that is in the description below. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.